a sale day.
Where have I heard that before?
Fuel for a year eligibility requires valid licensed driver over 21. One entry per person per household. Must complete test drive. Fuel for a year winner will receive preset amount of $1,200 in the form of a service station debit card. See dealer for complete details.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this morning to WOCA. You know, I was thinking about the audience reactions to the presidential debates, both the Democratic one and the Republican one. The audience reactions are always the most intense when the candidate says something that sounds like it's a promise that will increase the dollars that you have, whether it's to increase the minimum wage or increase your benefits or whatever. That's usually what gets the most applause. I suppose it's a tie with security and defense and all that, but money always gets a lot of applause. So it is our personal money that is always probably more important than any other money. Greg Keston is on the phone. He is a financial coach with a focus on education and teaching, and he wants to talk to us about ways to make sure that we have the money that we really want to have. Financial Freedom is the title of his book, Finding What Works for You. So let's find out what works for me, and you can find out what works out for you. Greg Keston, good morning, Greg.
Hey, good morning, Larry. How are you?
Pretty good. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Salt Lake City, Utah.
All right. The financial landscape in America is varied. I mean, you've got people making minimum wage. You've got people making a whole lot of money. And yet, sometimes it seems like the people who make the smallest amount are the smartest, not always, but are the smartest with putting it away. I mean, I've known a few people who are now 60, who when they were 20 had a little job, and they've never really had big jobs, but they're living pretty nice right now. They did something smart along the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not what a person makes, it's what they keep.
That's right.
And so what happens is that people who make a lot of money tend to just blow through the money without paying attention to it because they think it's always going to be there.
Yeah, good point.
Where the tendency for people who don't make a lot of money is that they pay attention to where the dollar goes.
So if we put our money under a rock, it won't grow. Are there, this isn't an infomercial just for the listeners, but the question is, what's better to do? Just put it under the mattress or invest it in the stock market or a 401k or something like that? What's the best thing to do?
Okay, well, as a coach, the best thing to do is what is in the client's best interest. Because as a coach and educator, I recognize that there is a risk to everything we do. There's a risk in keeping our money underneath the mattress in our bedroom. The risk is that someone will come in and steal the mattress, right? Or the house can burn down and the mattress burns up and there goes the money.
Right.
So there's a risk and reward to anything we might be able to do with that dollar that we have in our hands. And so the important thing is that people get in touch with what do they really want out of their life, and how does their money, that major financial resource in their life, how does their money support their quality or what they really want in their life?
Is moving advisable? For example, some people move here to Florida because it's less costly. Maybe Miami doesn't apply to that, but the area we're in certainly is more affordable. You can get a much bigger house for $250,000 than you would ever get on Long Island, for example.
Exactly, and that weighs into the factor, because in my book, the subline is finding what works for you. Now, here's a major difference: is that the financial industry is really full of salespeople. They call them financial advisors, but what they really are financial salespeople.
Yes.
And they sell insurance and annuities and mutual funds and real estate and limited partnerships and so forth. Whether or not that person really needs that investment or savings approach is not as relevant as what they're trying to do as a salesman, and that's sell a product.
That's right.
So for some people, I've got clients who do live in New York City, and they pay outrageous, at least in my point of view, amounts of money for renting an apartment. But yet, when they make $500,000 a year, that expensive apartment that they're renting is doable. Also, I have people in Oklahoma who they can buy a wonderful several-acre ranch home for a couple $100,000 and live like people who a lot of folks wish they could live like.
Yeah, really.
So it's relative.
Sometimes people will purchase insurance policies, and then they'll have a separate portion of that insurance policy where it's nothing but accruing interest, and then they do have some kind of a cash value that they can draw on over the years if they need an emergency loan.
Yes, that is one way to save money, and the challenge that we have as consumers with life insurance products, especially whole life or permanent life insurance, is extremely front-end loaded. And that means that there's very high sales charges up front. And so when people say, well, what should I do about my life insurance? As a coach, I say, you need to answer two questions. One, how much life insurance do you feel you need? And two, what is the best way to purchase that life insurance? Through term, whole life, or a combination thereof. Now, because I don't sell life insurance, I can educate them on the process of what's the best way for their particular situation in obtaining life insurance.
So it sounds like the message, we have a very short interview here, but it sounds like the message is that the answer to my question about what to do to be financially secure in my future is going to be different than Robin's answer.
That's right. Now, what I use for definitions, though, is financial security is simply living within your means. Whether you make $1,000 a month or $1 million a month, as long as you spend less than what you bring in, you can be financially secure. Now, another definition I use is financial independence, and that's when work is optional and leisure is affordable. So, being financially secure precedes being financially independent. And then the third area of definition is financial freedom. And financial freedom is when what you have is what you want, and what you want is what you have. And when you hit that level in your life, you are truly free, and that's a wonderful experience to have.
As long as the car doesn't break down.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And that's why we have reserves, because if the car breaks down or if the refrigerator gives up the ghost, we have a peace of mind savings account to cover those things that inevitably happen to all of us.
Yeah, the inevitable. Well, it sounds like good information. So the book is called Financial Freedom. Do you have a website for the book?
I do. It is www.financialfreedom.co.
Okay, I thought that was okay. That's what I thought I saw here.
Oh, don't go to .com. I went there and it said you're not authorized to enter this website. One
really?
of those things, yeah.
We lucked out. We picked up .co, which is the new ending that people love to have for their companies.
Oh, okay. So financialfreedom.co. Is the book also on Amazon and the other booksellers?
It is. It is.
Okay. Well, one of the things that the book talks about is something called a financial vision. Is that something you've created?
Yes. I walk people through on how they can create their own financial vision. And before you start, you know, there's a quote that where there is no vision, the people perish. And I'm a firm believer in that. So before we start getting involved in what makes sense and what they're trying to do and establishing objectives and goals and so forth, we first create a vision, their vision. That's like their personal money vision statement. Like, for instance, my wife and I have a financial vision statement, and the first line of that is, quote, "We enjoy the abundant life with our money," end of quote. And then we go on and say a few other things. Well, whenever things come up financially, which they come up in everybody's lives, we can refer to our financial vision statement that we established 25 years ago and say, hey, how does spending money on this endeavor relate to helping us enjoy the abundant life with our money? Because, see, the objective is to have an abundant life, and money is a servant to that objective.
Okay, all right. So if that was my objective, and all of a sudden I saw an ad to go to Disney World and spend a couple $100
at least,
I might say that doesn't serve my goal. I better off go to the beach and just spend $5 to park on the sand.
And isn't that the wonderful thing that we can experience in our country? We have absolute freedom to choose what we want to do with our time and resources and money.
Well, that sounds like good advice, and I hope that wasn't too simplistic, because I don't want to discourage you from going to Disney World.
Yeah.
You know what? I surprise a lot of clients when they say, well, you know, I really want to take the kids to Disney World or Disneyland out here west. And what do you think, Greg, Mr. Coach? And I say, you know what? You should do it. You saved money for it. It's consistent with your financial vision.
Yeah.
You're creating memories with your family. You should do it. And they go, really? I mean, my financial advisor thinks I should buy more life insurance or put the money into a mutual fund.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's the financial advisor's agenda.
Yeah.
It's not your agenda.
Yeah. Plus, we all have heard this 100 times. You know, if you stop that $2 a soda every day, you've got enough money for Disney once a year or something like that. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Greg, I'm looking forward to looking at the book. It's called Financial Freedom, and so we'll go to financialfreedom.co and pick it up. Thank you, Greg, for being on the air with us today.
Yep. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Robin.
Good information. We will be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. We'll start with some fog this morning. Otherwise, it's going to be a nice day. Partly sunny with a high of 83 to 88. And a few clouds tonight, a low 58 to